Hi there. Welcome to this video in the parent education series about the 6 dimensions in wellness. My name is Miss Miner and I'm one of the social work interns under Miss K at Garden Oaks Montessori. This presentation will have a lot of activities that you can do by yourself or with your child, so please feel free to pause the video at any time. So, what are the 6 dimensions of wellness? The 6 dimensions are occupational, physical, social, intellectual, spiritual, and emotional. These dimensions are interconnected, and one must take care of each dimension to be fulfilled and well. So, wellness, according to the National Wellness Institute, is, quote, an active process through which people become aware of and make choices toward a more successful existence, end quote. So, you become more well rounded. This model was created by Dr. Bill Heltler and usually is for older adults, although it can be modified to work with younger children as well, just because of the occupational component. So let's just go into each category. So for occupational, for parents, you would ask yourself, do you like your new job? Do you have a job that's well paying and aligns with your values? When you have a job that fulfills you, it's able to fulfill all the other aspects of your life. For children, we're going to be looking into the school. What subjects do they like? What skills are they building that they can apply to a future career and their passions? For the physical component, this is going to be the same for both children and adults. So this goes into diet and nutrition, going to the doctor when you don't feel well, eating healthy, getting exercise, and getting enough sleep. For the social component, this is going into how do you contribute to relationships and the community. For parents, it's building a stronger relationships with your friends and family and even your romantic partners, as well as helping others in your community. For children, this looks like friends in schools, opportunity to include others in play, sharing with others, and relationships with teacher and school staff. For the social component, for the intellectual component, this goes into, for parents, expanding knowledge, learning new things, problem solving in life, and reading. For children, it's easy to learn new things because they are in school in a learning environment and they focus on growth. For spiritual, this is going to be the same for both children and adults. So can be your religious faith, your spiritual beliefs, your sense of purpose and meaning in life. Life is beautiful, and just how you value the life and value your values. For the emotional component, for parents, it's okay to feel angry. You need to be able to model the behavior to your children. So, for example, you can say, I'm feeling angry, so I'm going to take a deep breath and take a break. And it's also thinking about the positive outlook you have on life. For children, it's important to identify the emotions that you are having and express how you're feeling through words, saying, I am angry, or I'm feeling sad, and I need to calm down. This also goes into how you feel about yourself, cope with stress, and how you're able to take on more responsibility in life. So we're going to go into the next thing, which is looking at the dimensions, specifically each of the 6 dimensions. So for the NWI dimensions of life, you can map yourself on this. For this activity, you will write a number between 1 and 10 in each triangle above to indicate how satisfied you are in each dimension of your life. So again, it's occupational, physical, social, intellectual, spiritual, and emotional. The higher number you are in a dimension, the happier you are. When you have them all marked, draw a line across each triangle at that number to form a new outline of the hexagon. You can ask yourself, is your life well balanced or is it unbalanced? Which dimensions need the most attention? Which dimensions would you like to address? So, on the next slide, I do have an example of what I did, but if you would like to pause the video, you can and fill that out. So this is what I drew. And so you can see, according to my own hexagon, it looks more like a kite. So for in the occupational, I gave myself an 8. In the physical, I gave myself a 9. Social, a 6. Intellectual, a 10. Spiritual, a 5. And emotional, a 7. So what I did was I circled each of the numbers that I chose and drew a line from each of them. Again, forming a kite instead of a hexagon. So this shows me what I need to really work on. So for instance, I don't really spend a lot of time in my spiritual. Maybe I need to focus on that and maybe dial a little back on my intellectual a little bit if I don't want to work on my spiritual side. So again, now it's time to reflect on why your hexagon may look the way it is. How much time are you spending on each of the categories? Why is that so? So, for instance, in step 2, it says, in which dimensions of wellness are you investing the most and least energy right now? Color in each of the bars below to indicate how much time and energy you have positively invested in each of the 6 dimensions this week. So, right now, you're focusing on what you did this week, your current thing, not what you want to become. So, for instance, you can do spiritual, none, just enough, a lot, emotional, occupational, physical, social, and intellectual. Again, none, just enough, and a lot. And please feel free to stop the video if you need to. So, this kind of shows what my example was. For instance, I don't spend that much time in my spiritual dimension, but I do a lot for emotional, occupational, and intellectual. For my physical and social, it's about half, just enough. So, step 3 involves creating your own ideal version of wholeness. So, instead of focusing on what happened this week or last week, you're going to focus on what you'd like to become. So, the instructions say, imagine you have only 30 energy blocks to devote across the 6 dimensions. Fill in a total of 30 blocks below to indicate how your ideal self would distribute those blocks across the dimensions. Devote a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 10 energy blocks to each dimension. So what you can do is you can either cross it out, fill it out, and color the boxes. But remember, you only have 30 boxes. Please feel free to stop the video if you need to. So, as you can see in this one, I again don't spend a lot of time in my spiritual, as I mentioned before, or I wouldn't like to. And for my emotional, I feel like I should be spending more time in that versus the occupational, physical, social, and intellectual. And this is, again, your ideal version of yourself. So this slide focuses on comparing your ideal self to where you actually are and looking at the similarities and inconsistencies. So the directions for step 4 say, compare your actual energy habits and investments from step 2 with the ideal vision in step 3. What do you notice? What would you like to improve on, feel, or be, if anything? Accept whatever you notice as a possibility. As you do, reflect on the different values listed below. Is there any value or group of values that you need to identify, align with, celebrate, or reassert in your life that can be helpful to you right now? Check off up to 5 values. Can you think of others not on this list? What inspires you? So again, just please feel free to take some time, pause the video, and just reflect. So now we're going to be going into the different domains, focusing on what actually can improve and can't, and how you feel about your current situation. So this one is focusing on the occupational dimension, the personal satisfaction and enrichment in one's life through work. So this is going to be looking at my work reflects my personal values. The work I do accomplishes something important. I have opportunities to make meaningful contributions at work. My work offers me challenges I can handle. I enjoy the work I do. I feel I have a good work-life balance. And so you can check off whichever one applies to you. Almost always is one category, often is another, sometimes is another, rarely, and then almost never. So please feel free to stop the video, take some time to plot yourself. So again, we're going into the other domain, which is intellectual dimension, the creative stimulating activities that lead to learning, personal growth, and sharing of one's unique gifts with others. Again, the categories are the same. Almost always, often, sometimes, rarely, and almost never. So the boxes say, I engage in stimulating or creative activities. I engage in continual learning opportunities. Example, college courses, certifications, reading. I treat my own errors as opportunities to learn and grow. I stay informed about local, national, or world events. I fully immerse myself in tasks with energized focus and enjoyment. I engage in downtime or relaxation that lacks specific goals or focus to recharge my brain. So definitely taking that self-care. So again, we're going into the next domain, and here are some categories that you can go over. I love and accept myself as I am. When I experience positive or negative emotions, I can appropriately express how I feel. To cope with challenges in life, I focus on the most positive aspects of the event or situation, what I can learn from the event or situation, or what positive consequences may result. I seek help from others when I'm experiencing difficulties. I can adequately manage my emotional response when in an upsetting or challenging situation, and I engage in stress management activities. So this is again looking at the emotional domain. So this is going to be the social dimension. The categories here are, I do things that contribute to a larger cause. I use my strengths to help others. I have a loving, supportive relationships, family, friends in my life. I have a strong sense of belonging with the community in which I live. I protect and conserve natural resources to ensure a healthy environment for all organisms. I help resolve environmental issues in my community. This is going to be the spiritual dimension. And again, the questions or categories are, I feel that my life has a sense of direction or meaning to it. I have a sense of peace about my life. I accept events and others as they are and do not make judgments. I feel a sense of connectedness with creation and all other living beings. Prayer and or meditation are a regular part of my daily routine. I live each day in a way that is consistent with my values. And this one, the last one, is going to be that physical dimension. And so it says, I engage in at least 150 minutes of physical activity in a week. Examples, walking, yoga, cycling, swimming, golf, or running. I consume at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day. 1 serving is equal to 1 medium piece of fruit, 1/2 cup fresh, frozen, or canned fruits and vegetables, 3/4 of a cup of fruits or vegetable juice, 1 cup of salad greens, or 1/4 cup dried fruit. I wake up feeling fresh and rested. I use e-cigarettes or other tobacco products such as chewing tobacco or smoking cigarettes, pipes, little cigars or cigarillos, water pipes or hookahs. I consume 4 or more drinks of alcohol in a 2-hour period. Poor physical or mental health keeps me from doing my usual activities, such as for self care, work, or recreation. So the drugs and alcohol may not deal with younger children, but it might be relevant to older kids. So, based on all the things that we talked about in all 6 domains, what is your overall satisfaction with each of the dimension of wellness in your life? And you rate how much of a priority each dimension is to you. So, again, focusing on the 6 dimensions: occupational, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and physical. So this shows a little prompt about priorities. So for the dimensions that you indicated were high or medium priorities, please list any specific areas that you would like to discuss. So the rest of the presentation is going to be focused on wellness at work. So please feel free to pause and reflect on these different concepts. I'm not going to read all the categories like I did before, as people may or may not have a job or may not have an occupation that they enjoyed, or whatever the case may be. So please feel free to either pause the video, stop the video, and take notes. So again, this is the engagement strategy. This is the social and community well-being, emotional and mental well-being, nutrition environment, tobacco-free environment, wellness environment, financial guidance, physical activity environment. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to Ms. K, who is the school social worker at Garden Oaks Montessori. Her email is listed below, or please feel free to reach out to me, Ms. Miner, and my email is listed below. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Have a wonderful day.